And I think Astrid's going to be here eventually. She's probably just running late. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into... Let me turn this down first, or else my ears are going to be in a world of hurt when we start this. Okay. My friends, it is about 5 minutes past, so let's go ahead and get into Gabriel Knight, Sins of the Fathers. A game that I didn't play until like 10 years ago. But for some reason, I just never got around to it, and my family never bought it, and like my mom was big on buying these kinds of games, and it just never happened, I guess. Maybe she just wasn't interested. Who knows? Anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. Check out Gabriel Knight. I dreamt of blood upon the shore, of eyes that spoke of sin. The lake was smooth and deep and black, as was her scented skin. I had just enough time to read that.
I bet. Just a minute.
Let's monkey around with this a little bit. I want to turn down the music so that you can hear the voices a little better, and then we're going to turn the text on for the hearing disabled people out there, the deaf people, who might be watching right now.
It lives, I see. Do you want to speak with Lolita?
No, don't speak with anyone named that. No,
I'm
Gabriel.
sorry, but Gabriel is allowed. Oh, I mean, he's out. Yeah, if he ever comes back, I'll tell him. You know, you could do better. I know I don't know you, but you could do better. Good morning. The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. Let me know when you want your messages.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly.
Gee, you're lively. Did you have another nightmare last night?
Sort of.
Mm-hmm. I told you it's that voodoo book you're researching. That stuff can seriously screw up your karma.
I'm sure that's it. Maybe I should write a horror novel on passive resistance instead.
Don't sleep. It's your body. Anyway, your handheld tape recorder came today.
Ooh.
Great.
The toast of early
I can't
90s
wait to
tech,
see
baby.
What human rights you violate with this one.
I can't wait to violate them. For example, if you would just let me...
And I located some local voodoo references for you. Dixieland Drugstore and the Historical Museum of Voodoo. Both are right here in French Quarter.
How would I ever manage without you?
Gabriel, you would not.
Give me a break. The devil himself couldn't change you.
Well, if the devil had great legs, perhaps. Like yours.
And a riveting personality, I'm sure. Well, if you need any more research done, just ask. It's not as though we're swamped with customers.
Go nuts, Kelly. Alright, so here's the thing about Gabriel Knight's interface, guys. Now, if we look up at the top here, we've got all these icons, right? And this is not the easiest interface to interact with ever. In fact, Astrid was playing the game yesterday, and she was a little confused by it. And I don't blame her, because when I first played this, I was a little confused by it too. But in a gist, here's what these icons mean. Obviously, the shoe, that's walk. The Mardi Gras mask means look. Yeah, that's funny, Kelly. The question mark means ask some questions of a person, and the exclamation mark means make a statement of some sort. Now, these are all pretty much this is just one big use panel, in case you're wondering. This is just a bunch of separated used keys, and I don't know why they made it this way, but that's the way it is. This means pick something up, this means open something, this means move something, and this means operate something. And then, of course, you have your little tape recorder right here, where you can look at various tapes that you've had of conversations with people. And here's your little satchel.
Gabriel's carrying nothing.
And right now, your inventory doesn't have anything in it, so yeah, there's that. All right, so let's go ahead and get on with things here. And there's some stuff we can already pick up right off the bat, guys. We can go ahead and pick up this magnifying glass.
Mind if I borrow the magnifying glass?
No, Sherlock. Just bring it back when we get the next estate shipment.
No problem.
Hey. Now, in case you're wondering what that little pixie dust sound was, that means we got a point. And right now, excuse me. Now, the thing about Sierra games is that these older Sierra games. Well, let me turn my mic down a little bit because I notice I'm going into the yellow on my levels. All right. What the thing about Sierra games is that they divided their games into points. Like they gave their games a point system. So when you complete puzzles or pick up objects, they throw you a point or however many. I don't know why Sierra did that, but it's something that they did. It's unique to their
I'm
games.
gonna take the tweezers for a bit.
Good. You're beginning to look a little scruffy.
Just trying to make you feel at home.
Wouldn't shaving be easier? And, I already had take selected. Now we can go over to the newspaper and read that, and we can get some clues off of it.
Times-Picayune, dated June 18, 1993. The front page has an article about the voodoo murders. The article says that the victims are all identified as members of the underworld. The general public of New Orleans is in no danger. Police claim the so-called voodoo trappings found at the crime scenes are fake, a scare tactic, and that the murders are not associated with any genuine practitioners. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Potential storms ahead. Proceed with caution, and do not get involved with anything new at this time.
Huh.
Right.
Good luck with that. I mean, let's face it, Gabriel's gonna get involved with something, right? Hey guys, let's go ahead.
My kidney's already floating, thanks.
Oh, he doesn't want any more coffee. Come on, take some coffee, Gabriel.
The coffee has already been made.
Alright, we'll talk to Grace then. Actually, no, let's go ahead and open the cash register. I'm sure Grace will love that.
Gabriel opens the cash register to examine the take. Or, in the case of St. George Books, the mistake.
Now, Grace will not let us take any of the money, because this is pretty much all the money the store has. We're not exactly flush with cash in this game. So, we've got a gift certificate for St. George's Books here. So, we'll take this instead.
I trust you can live without this old gift certificate.
Knock yourself out.
And of course, if we look around at the environment, we can learn a few things about Gabriel's store.
The book rack contains cookbooks, true crime, and puzzle books. An inspired combination. Old medical reference texts are stored on an upper shelf. Real old.
In other words, no doctor worth their salt would ever use them.
The books on that top shelf include mysteries and other pulp novels from the 50s and 60s.
Well, that might be fun.
Under the window are reference books, dictionaries, foreign language dictionaries, quotation books, and others. Gabriel borrows them often when he's writing. Under the
Yeah, we already saw that. All right.
3 snakes in a skull. Gabriel's father painted it.
What a wacky, offbeat kind of guy Daddy was.
Now, Team Gumshoe, I want you guys to keep in mind right now that Gabriel Knight is voiced by Tim Curry. Now, when I first heard this, I couldn't believe this was Tim Curry, guys. Like, really? That's Tim Curry? That doesn't sound anything like him. Hey, Koo, it's nice to see you, man. I'm glad you're here.
The books on the desk all need repair work.
Oh, God, that's a tall stack. It's nice to see you, Koo. I'm glad you're here. Ooh, okay, we can climb the ladder.
If you try to look down my shirt one more time, I'm leaving.
Hell, just trying to refresh my memory.
I know what you're trying to refresh, and it isn't your memory. Get down.
You know, I don't know why Grace takes it. Wow, Grace, do you really need this job this bad? Does he even pay you? I have to wonder. Let's go ahead. Ooh.
The front door leads to Bourbon Street.
I didn't want to look at that. I want to look at the coat.
Dramatic, isn't it? Gabriel didn't eat for 3 weeks after splurging on that coat. He has a thing for black leather.
Oh, going all right. Just getting started playing Gabriel Knight here like I promised everyone. I was asking all Team Gumshoe what they wanted to see next, and they pretty much were pretty excited about Team Gumshoe. They were pretty excited about Gabriel Knight, so I decided, well, we're going to play the original because I like Tim Curry as Gabriel Knight.
That shelf holds used copies of the Dime Strife series, secrets of unsolved ancient UFO mysteries and such. They just leap out the door.
The thing about old point-and-click adventure games like this, guys, is that it really pays to observe everything when you're in a new environment, because you never know what you're going to be able to interact with. Oh yeah, this is an old point-and-click game from 1990, like back in the late 80s, or about the mid-80s to about the mid-90s, or maybe late 90s. Adventure games were where it was at with PC gaming. And if you wanted a cinematic experience with your games, this is the kind of game that you played then. Because these games offered the cinematic experience complete with storylines and branching plots and voice acting and stuff. And yeah, mostly these games offered their cinematic experience through puzzles. And they used object puzzles, logic puzzles, riddles, stuff like that. They used a variety of gameplay like that. And if you didn't do a lot of PC gaming back then, you probably wouldn't know, or unless you have a keen interest upon for some reason or another.
The top shelf contains a set of German books that once belonged to Gabriel's grandfather.
But yeah, Sierra actually got Tim Curry to play Gabriel Knight here, and they got Leah Remini in a very early role to play Grace Nakamura over here. And then Mark Hamill's in the game too. And Michael Dorn, aka Worf, is in the game. And so is the guy who played Alfred on Batman the Animated Series. Like, they got a real star-studded cast for this. It's really impressive.
The chandelier is original. Gabriel finds it charming. All right. He can't afford to replace it.
Yeah, it would be a little bit hard to be into PC gaming in the 90s, Koo. If you were born in 2000, you know? Although, I like looking back at old stuff that was way before my time. I just like all these little curiosities like this. Hey, Team Gumshoe, assemble. Hunt Plus, it's nice to see you, brother. I'm always glad when you're here. And Astrid. Artist Astrid is my girlfriend, ladies and gents, so feel free to say hi. Let's go back here and take a look in Gabriel's room. Now look at this. What a pigsty, right? I mean, to be fair, his room looks cleaner than mine does, so I'm not going to rag on him too hard. Oh yeah. Like, just the attention to detail throughout this game. This game is so well written, and it's so well acted. Like, everything about this game is pretty much A+ for a point-and-click game. I give this game very high marks compared to, like, Willy Beamish, which had so much potential, but they just completely, cocked it up. Now, like I say, guys, it really pays to look around at your environment.
The medicine cabinet contains a few old prescriptions, personal hygiene stuff, and lots of hair products, including some hair gel.
One thing about these old point-and-click games, these old adventure games, guys, is that you need to look around at everything, because even though you might not be able to interact with something now, it might be relevant later. And then if you've looked at everything and you get a clue later on, you might think to yourself, wait a minute, I know where there might be a solution. This was a pretty common art style around this time, Koo. You saw it in a lot of Sierra and LucasArts games. This is actually shortly before they went full into full motion video. And we might play Gabriel Knight 2 soon after this. I don't know when, though. But let's concentrate on the first game, of course. Now, here's an object we want to grab right here.
I'll take this hair gel. You never know when you'll need a touch-up.
Now, I don't think there's anything else in the cupboard
There's
we need.
nothing else Gabriel needs from the medicine cabinet.
Yeah. Gabriel looks like he needs a shower. Take a
I
shower.
don't need to, thanks.
All right, he just wants to have his man stink. That's cool. That's cool. Now, let's open this little refrigerator here and see if there's anything in there.
Gabriel, shut the refrigerator, please. I can smell it from here.
Women.
Women. Oh, I love Tim Curry and Leah Remini in this. Well, I didn't want to backseat game you, because I figured I'd rather let you just explore on your own, Astrid. I don't want to be that guy that, I mean, unless you want me to help you, I guess I could, but I don't want to be that guy.
I might need a flashlight.
Okay, there's a flashlight there that we can use, and we can have some more fun in this room. I mean, just look around.
Jeans and T-shirts.
It's pretty much just what Gabriel's wearing right now.
Jeans and T-shirts.
Now, fun little fact, guys. In the sequel, Gabriel Knight does not wear blue jeans, because in the sequel, they used a blue screen to do all the full motion video segments, so they had to switch him to black jeans instead of blue jeans. If you play Gabriel Knight 2, you'll notice that there's not really any blue in the game. Not really. And you'll notice the same thing if you play Phantasmagoria, because they used a blue screen. It was a pretty inventive way of creating, this cinematic experience back then with full motion video techniques. It was all very new, and this was like trying to do Marvel Cinematic Universe CGI stuff long before it even existed.
It's Gabriel's bed. Unmade as usual. A poster on the wall advertises Mardi Gras, the biggest party of the year in New Orleans. A poster on the wall advertises Mardi Gras, the biggest party of the year in New Orleans.
I know you would, Astrid, and that's why I decided just to let you succeed or fail on your own. As horrible as that sounds. Now watch what happens when we try to operate the typewriter. Because remember, Gabriel Knight is a writer, Team Gumshoe.
Writer's block.
Yeah, he's got look at this basket here. He's got a ton of writer's block in this basket.
If I threw that stuff away, it weren't worth reading.
If we want, we can also operate the radio. Doesn't really do anything.
The Creole Grand Dames will hold their annual Gardenia Festival, and tea this coming Tuesday at the Sons of Burgundy Hall. Admission is free.
But it might be relevant later. Key to remember that. And we've got some Mardi Gras masks. We've got a calendar over here. We can also operate the phone, because Gabriel Knight's got a phone right here. Now, we don't have any numbers we can call, but this is going to be relevant later, I think. Because odds are we're going to have to call somebody.
Creole Grand Dames will hold their
Whoops.
If Gabriel picked up a pencil, he might actually have to write something.
I love the snide narrator. Always giving Gabriel
might
grief.
as well leave that here.
I thought Tim Curry did a pretty decent job.
Gabriel doesn't need anything from the bookshelf.
There's a few instances where the Curryisms come through, but overall, for putting on a big accent, which he didn't usually do, I thought he did okay.
It's frightening. It's terrifying. Don't miss. Run for your life. Now playing at the Night at Tomorrow Theater.
Well, I think we're done in here, Team Gumshoe, so let's go ahead and GTFO. And now let's talk to Grace, because Grace has some things to say. Oh, does she ever.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Now look at this. This is interesting because they go into like this mode here where we get a full portrait view of the characters, and their speaking animations are actually well animated.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I didn't know much of anything about it until you started researching it for your book. Now I know that it's active in the city. There's that shop and museum. It can clearly be dangerous in the wrong hands. You should be careful investigating it.
Now, as soon as the text goes dark, that means we don't have anything else we can ask them.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Just what I read in the paper, same as you.
Or I shouldn't say that. I think that just means that, sorry, it's been a while. I think that what that means is that you've just asked them about it. Or something like that. Well, I guess I don't know. It's inconsistent.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Well, I've only been here 2 months, but I love it. It's so much more alive than any place I've been. It feels like anything's possible here.
Now, obviously about voodoo murders in New Orleans, we're not going to learn anything from Grace. She doesn't really know anything about any of that stuff. She's new here. So you want to learn more about that stuff, you got to go around town and everything. But you can learn more about her.
Tell me about yourself, Grace.
Yeah, right, Knight.
I mean it.
What do you want to know?
Alright, so Astor didn't want to click on this one yesterday, but I'm going to click on it today just so you guys can see what happens.
How come we haven't gone out yet?
I'm still waiting around for that lobotomy. As soon as I get it, I'll let you know.
Oh, poor Gabriel. You just got shot down, bro.
How do you like working at St. George's Books?
Well, it's not exactly a huge intellectual challenge. Although the math in your record books could confuse Einstein. Still, I love old books, and it's a nice way to pay the bills while I explore the city for a summer. If you ever pay me, that is.
He doesn't pay her. He doesn't pay her.
What do you do after work?
Well, I either go to my oil painting class or my Tai Chi. You know that.
You know, you can go overboard with this improving yourself stuff. You don't want to alienate us mere mortals.
I suppose I should just allow my mind and body to atrophy.
Works for me.
She takes 2 classes? Are they like concurrent right after she gets off work? Because that's kind of nuts.
How old are you?
Old enough to know about men like you.
Boomch.
Just tell me anything at all.
I just got my master's in history and classics. My folks wanted me to go on right away for my PhD, but 18 years of school was enough. I needed a break.
So she is about 23, I think, here.
Just tell me anything at all.
I came to New Orleans because I'd read so much about it, and I thought, spending a few months here would clear my head.
I guess it depends whether she counts like preschool as school or if she even went to preschool.
Just tell me anything at all.
I've always wanted to do something really adventurous, Something real life. I'm sick of libraries and lecture halls.
Well, girl, you're gonna get all that and more very shortly. Let me clue you.
Nothing, I guess. Never mind.
Alright, so
Suit yourself.
we need to get the messages.
Do you have messages for me?
Dana called, and Susie left a message about a lawsuit.
Woof.
Awesome.
Okie dokie. There's more when you want 'em.
Okay, so she just said there's more when you want them, so there's obviously more messages. And the way that these conversations work in this game is a little bit like in real life, where, the character isn't just going to divulge everything right off the bat when you ask them. You have to ask them a couple more times, like, yeah, okay, and what about blah, 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 and how about this, blah, 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 blah. So you have to ask her again for more messages.
You have more messages for me?
Your grandmother called.
I keep meaning to get over there. What did she say? Did she sound good?
She sounded great, and we had a nice little chat about you.
Grace.
Don't worry. I didn't go into detail about your cardinal sins. Not that anything about you could surprise her. She adores you anyway.
She's my girl.
But she said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay.
Her grandma Gabriel's grandma probably likes Grace.
You have more messages for me?
Here's a strange one. You got a call from someone named Wolfgang Ritter? He said he was calling from Germany. He told me it was urgent, maybe you should give him a call.
That's curious.
Oh, Germany, like hell. If it's really important, he'll call back.
Well, fine. Let's just hope he's not with the German lottery for pitiful American authors.
Okay, so that's going to be really relevant later, but it's not really relevant right now. It's really important to the plot of this game and the sequel. Just putting it out there. Now, we could ask Grace to do some research, but there's no research to ask her to do right now, so we're just going to leave this alone. And we're going to peace out, guys. So, let's go ahead and get on out of here. And we're going to be a man about town in a couple of seconds.
See you later.
Yeah, looking like a tough guy.
See ya.
Alright, so we have to decide where we need to go first. And there's a couple of places we could go, but most importantly, we need to go to Grandma's house. So let's get on over to Granny's and see what she's got to say.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give us a kiss. Now come and sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Okay, so now to talk with Grandma, we need to ask her questions.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
And of course, we can go through all these questions right here.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Of course it did.
Odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear about it so much these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
I'll try not to go to Grandma's house too often, Astrid, so your dog doesn't go too nuts.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
Now, here's the thing, like, about voodoo and the voodoo murders you have to consider. Well, you don't really have to consider, but when you think about it, is Gabriel's grandma really going to know anything about that? No. She's not going to know anything. But when you say go to the police, yeah, they might know a little something about that. And if you go to the convenience stores and things, yeah, they might know some stuff too. But she might know something about New Orleans.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern. Of course, though, not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
Whatever that means, Granny.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Oh, Surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
Oh, come on, Gran.
All right, dear. What do you want to hear?
Well, let's ask her. Wow, he's really got a lot of questions about his granny. It's like he doesn't know her at all, guys.
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas, corn, cotton, all kinds of things.
Yes, Astrid.
It was a
That's
good
that's exactly
childhood,
what happened.
but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
The thing about Gabriel's granny is that I kind of get the feeling she's a lot like my granny was. Which, ooh. I mean, my granny was from Alabama. His granny is from Louisiana, so whatevs.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
Hey, Attorney,
I met Harrison at a church revival.
it's nice to see
There
you, brother.
was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend Alma, and at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fire and brimstone antics, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off.
Oh,
I
stupid!
swear, Harrison and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. It was then I knew that he was for me.
Everyone knows you shouldn't headbang when you... Everyone knows you shouldn't headbang when you're wearing a toupee, guys. Taterniak, brother, it's nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. I was really hoping you would be here.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
22. And... Well, I don't know when his father died, actually. I was going to do
Just
some math.
tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather, and I never will.
You might learn something... It's alright, Taterniak. Don't worry about it, man. You might learn some things by clicking on Just Tell Me Anything at All, but sooner or later it circles through everything.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddad and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies, whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Alright, we're done with that, I
Oh,
think.
nothing, never mind.
All right, dear.
Now we can ask her about the Knight family, which is going to unlock some more dialogue options.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He worked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him. Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. They were 2 peas in a pod.
Hate to break it to you, Grandma, but I'm having some nightmares of my own right now. Actually, I forgot to click on Harrison Knight again. There might be another dialogue bit in here that will surprise us.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping.
Okay, yeah.
I'll tell you what, though. He hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. The nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he'd lost another. And I would tell him. It didn't matter to me. But he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
And let's see.
Tell
Is
me
there anything
something
more?
about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he
Oof.
died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. Took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Gran.
I know you are, dear.
No kidding, Act. This guy looks like he ODs on Propecia.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was! He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were courting. I always thought he should have done something with that gift. But he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
So Gabriel comes from a family of poets and artists. Or essentially, I guess, just a family of artists, considering that poetry is an art.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Alright, anything more?
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
Okay, that means we've exhausted all the dialogue options for that.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then. And he looked at plenty.
I
You
bet
had
he
your
did.
father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Oh, God, that's terrible. Gabriel's bad enough. I wonder how they were.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8.
Whoa, what?
It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabriel.
Yeah.
The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road or a wild cat.
Oh, boy. Well, this is more of a mature game, Astrid. Yeah, Koo's new, but Koo's pretty cool. This is definitely more of an adult game, and so is the sequel. Raunchy, kinda sexy. In a filthy kind of way.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school. Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Hey, Lucas, it's nice to see you again.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated it that it was Margaret's money that supported the three of you when his painting couldn't. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two. But he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
I mean, Granny, H.R. Giger did all right, and I mean, look at his work. That stuff will drive you crazy looking at it. Play the Dream Web? Is that a recent game? I don't know if I've heard of it.
Tell me about my father.
I don't know.
Alright, now let's ask about his mom. Heck yeah, we're glad to have you. Team Gumshoe.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked defying her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be a sweet gesture.
Maybe I will.
Now that's why it pays to go through all the dialogue options, guys, because we just unlocked a new location. Alright, let's ask about his mom again.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from a great aunt, who happened to like Philip.
A modest trust
The
fund.
remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Oh, yeah, it has a sex scene in it. If it's like pornographic, or if it's like harder than Leisure Suit Larry, we can't really play it.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. They never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Amen, Granny. Wow, Gabriel's mom's family was loaded, and they would not give her or her son a single red cent. That's disgusting. That's appalling.
Tell me about my mother.
I don't know what else to tell you, dear.
All right.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
You.
All right, we're just the compliment thing is just to butter her up. It doesn't really do anything. We're done talking to her now, so let's go upstairs.
I'm going to go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
I'll check if what is it? Dreamweb is on Steam or GOG later, and see what it's all about, or maybe I'll just look at some YouTube videos and stuff. All right, so here's one thing that we want to do. There's a book right here that we really want.
I think I'll take Daddy's sketchbook with me.
Yep. In there is Daddy's sketchbook, and let's look at some of these items that we got here. If we open the book, if we use the open book icon, we can like get a close-up of all these items.
The gift certificate is written up generically and has the store's name and amount penned in by Gabriel himself.
Oh, well, I guess we don't get a close-up of that one, do we?
That are
$20.
$20 gift certificate for St. George's looks pitifully new and unused.
Well, anyway, let's look at the sketchbook. Now, the sketchbook is important because Gabriel's going to use the sketchbook himself, and I guess it becomes his sketchbook now. Check out his dad's drawings.
Images haunt the pages of Philip Knight's sketchbook, the way they must have haunted his mind. The images touch a deep chord in Gabriel. So familiar are they that he finds it hard to believe they aren't from his own subconscious.
Now, something that's really curious is that Gabriel's grandfather died when his father was 8, and Gabriel's father and mother died when Gabriel was 8. So, there seems to be a curse on this family. Curiously enough. Now, let's go ahead and let's move this clock over here, guys. And is there anything we can do with the clock? I'm not totally sure, but we can look at it. It looks like... I'm pretty sure that we can move some things, alright? That we can move these to whatever position we want them in. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what position we want them in, though. And I also don't... We can also move the hands of the clock.
The face of the...
But I don't know what relevance that this has quite yet.
Nothing.
Yeah. I really don't know what to do with that quite yet, so that puzzle's going to have to wait till later. Oh yeah. What's a little bit of nightmare fuel in your sketchbook, right? I mean, I've got some pretty terrible things in my sketchbook.
The trunk contains some old clothes, including a pair of leather shorts.
Aren't those called lederhosen?
Serious hiking boots. More of Harrison Knight German book.
Just what I need.
And a bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca.
Well, unfortunately, Gabriel needs that sketchbook, so we're not going to throw it away.
I don't think there's anything in that trunk that would interest anybody but my gran.
Okay, I think we got everything that we need up here. Team Gumshoe. We could root around the basket up there, but there's nothing we really need right now. So, let's get down and out of here.
Well, Gran, I better get going.
I don't know about
All
that,
right,
Terniak.
dear.
Maybe sometime in the future. Now, Grandma gave us a clue. She said we should go over to the cemetery, so, you know, let's go over to the cemetery, right? Makes sense to me. Might as well grab that piece of brick. It's a curious piece of brick. Now let's look at this.
The marks are reddish in color and reminds Gabriel of crosses. They look like they've been here a few days at least.
What, the 90s granny house when the silent gen grannies were doing their thing, getting their interior design on, throwing lace and everything and pastel colors and stuff. Now, here's what we can do. We can get the sketchbook that we picked up, and we can jot down this image right here.
I want a copy of these strange marks.
Curious, right? Curious indeed. Let's talk to the gravekeeper here.
Hello there, got a sec?
You got something to say, son?
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
I don't think it's got enough mass on it to be a hidden brick, but it's got potential. It's probably what they used to draw all those marks on that tomb.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
They say it was part of an old religion from Africa, brought here by slaves.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
I don't really care to talk about it. I don't do it none myself.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Ain't it just awful, them finding those bodies with voodoo things around them? I don't think there's any real voodoo going on. Somebody's trying to cover their tracks is all.
One of the things I like about this game is that it pretty quickly subverts your expectations about voodoo. His granny is a serial bad person? I don't think she is.
What do you know?
I told you.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Seem like everybody want to visit New Orleans at least once in their lives. And they love the cemetery tour. I see tourists in here every day of the year.
What can you tell me?
There's lots of things to see here, but none are as beautiful as the St. Louis Cemetery #1.
Like I said, I really enjoy that the game subverts your expectations about voodoo in it. Like, you think the game's going to be all about voodoo and, going through all the satanic panic of the 80s and everything, and going through all kinds of different panics about the voodoo religion. And then, very quickly, whoosh, nope, turns out it's fake voodoo. And you're like, huh, so someone's playing a little tricky. All right. Someone's just trying to cover their tracks with a little bit of racism.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
Hey, if you want to know more, you should ask somebody else.
Fair enough.
Tell me about yourself.
My name is Toussaint Gervais. I'm the watchman here at St. Louis #1.
What exactly do you do here?
Oh, I keep the place tidy, cause, but a big part of my job, too, is looking out for the grievers, you know. People come to pay their respects, and they need looking out for. Sometimes they so grief-bound they don't know what they doing.
Voodoo is real. It's just that the voodoo that's being presented as part of the voodoo murders in this game is fake voodoo.
Tell me about yourself.
That's about all there is to say.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery I'm the one.
You know why the dead are buried in tombs and not in the ground, don't you? The water table's too high. Them coffins would float right out of their graves.
True story.
Them dead would go floating right down into the water. For a slip of Mardi Gras, nobody'd even notice.
Oh, this guy's been hanging around here too long. Could tell already.
Tell me something about St. Louis Cemetery. I'm the one.
It's a historical place. People buried in here from the Civil War and back further, too. Take a look around, you'll see.
Tell me some.
Just look around. Just look around.
All right. We're not going to get anything out of Gervais there. I think his name is Gervais, I forget. But let's go ahead and walk over to this other screen here and see if there's anything that we can get. I don't think there's anything else in the cemetery right now, but we can look.
The marker reads, Mera Planta Wright.
These are Grand's folks. I never knew 'em.
Yeah, that's his great-grandma.
The marker reads, Franklin Wright.
These are Grand's folks. I never knew 'em.
Great-grandma and great-grandpa.
The marker reads, Harley Wright.
Grand's sister. She died young.
Bummer.
The marker reads, Harrison Knight.
Granddaddy.
The marker reads, Philip Knight.
Daddy.
The marker reads, Margaret Templeton Knight.
My mother.
All right, so that's his family's tomb right there. They don't have graves in New Orleans because of the water table, of course. And I don't think we can really do anything else here right now.
Vases seem to be a favorite decoration for the dead. This family tomb bears the inscription, Rest in Peace, and the name, Fuller Mill. Several generations of an old New Orleans family rest here.
The serpent and the
in
rainbow?
relative peace. An odd monument highlights one grave site. It looks vaguely reptilian.
Huh. Well, let's get on out of here, guys. I think we're all done in this particular area for right now. Put a little spring in your step there, Gabriel. Hey, bitty, 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 bitty. Come on, exit the screen, man. What are you doing, Gabriel? Get out of there. Jeez. Okay. Where should we go now, I wonder? I wonder if... The Nightbreed film, you mean the graveyard? I haven't seen Nightbreed. The Historical Voodoo Museum, that's not going to be really anything, but we'll go over here to this Dixieland drugstore for right now.
Hi.
Is Nightbreed on Amazon right now?
The signs say, Special Saint Jean.
I feel like I saw it there once.
Lagnappe, free bottle of lover come back to me oil, or master gambling oil, with every purchase over $50.
Lagniappe. My French is lousy, but everyone in New Orleans knows what that means. A little something extra.
Wink. A little something extra. Now let's go ahead and talk to the storekeeper here and see what he's got to say.
Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Ask what you want. I'll answer what I want.
Can you tell me what you know about voodoo?
This is a novelty shop, monsieur.
This is a Wendy's, sir. He just Wendy's Gabriel. my god.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Cabri Sancour.
What did you say?
Nothing, nothing. Those killings have nothing to do with my shop, monsieur.
Cabrice and Core. Well, that's actually going to be pretty relevant later. Ahem.
What did you mean when you said Cabri sans corps?
I didn't say that.
You did. I heard you say it.
You heard wrong, monsieur. I said no such thing.
You should be worried about that statement, Gabriel. Wendy's a takeaway? Wendy's is a burger joint here in America. I don't know if it is over there in England. But it's like one step below Burger King and McDonald's over here. It's like probably the third most popular fast food restaurant. Or, well, fast food burger place. They do, they're a little bit more upscale in the kind of burgers that they offer than the other two.
What's the significance of St. John's Eve?
Yeah.
It's the biggest night of the year in voodoo.
What goes on exactly?
Yeah, Wendy's is fast food.
I couldn't say.
Wendy's is the one that has like the redhead on their logo and everything, and they're partnered up with Tim Hortons. So you see a lot of combined Timmy Ho's and Wendy's over here in America and in Canada. All right.
What's the significance?
I've said...
All right. Let's ask
Tell
about
me
himself.
about yourself.
My name's Willie Walker. I own the place.
Tell me, how did you get into this kind of business?
Why should I discuss my business with you, man?
Oh man, this guy is kind of sus, isn't he?
Tell me about yourself. How did you get in?
Why should I discuss...
He don't want to talk about nothing. Well, I wouldn't expect you to really hear of it, Taterniak, especially if they don't have them over there in England.
The mask appears to be made from a real crocodile head.
They have Wendy's over in Canada, but I don't know that Wendy's is really international. Like McDonald's is. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. There's nothing more in here that we need to get right now. Maybe. Yeah, there's nothing we can do there. Let's go ahead and go to... Yeah, none of these places are of real interest right now, but we can go over to the cathedral and grab some stuff. Yeah, Kua, like I said, I don't think they're international. I think they're just like North American. Now here's what we can do. We can sneak into the back of the chapel here, into the priest's ready room, and we can let's interact with the mirror maybe. Yeah.
I love my hair.
Yeah, I know you do, brother. That's a full head of hair, and you should be proud of it. Well, I don't think anyone goes to McDonald's for the healthy food, bro.
I can't resist black.
Astrid and I used to go to McDonald's before the pandemic and everything.
Nothing on that shelf in
Well, let's just take a look around.
long ceremonial robes hang in the closet. A padded red bench provides seating. It's a picture of Christ.
KFC.
This small nook must be used as a ready room for the parish priest.
God, KFC. I haven't had...
It's small, cool, and has a faintly institutional feel.
I have not been to KFC in years, man. And I blew my mom's mind the other day when I told her that KFC does big business in Japan on Christmas.
Appropriately sacred books are laid out on the table.
And I told her how, like, in Japan that you have to make reservations to get KFC on Christmas, because if you don't make reservations, you ain't gonna get it. I mean, that's how big a deal KFC is at Christmas over there, apparently. And then I told her about that. She said, "Well, I could get down with that," because she loves KFC so much. Like, I try not to let her like eat too much KFC and stuff.
Gabriel cannot see himself wearing a long robe.
But sometimes it really seems like she really wants that KFC, man.
Gabriel does not need any wax candles. Gabriel isn't interested in those books.
Alright, I don't think there's anything else we can really do here, so let's exit this area and peace on out of the chapel. Well, guys, I really don't care about myself, so I eat fast food. Well, I used to eat more fast food than I do now. I'd have like I don't know. I'd have an Egg McMuffin, or sometimes a hamburger, or whatever. It's hard to remember how I ate before all this started. Yeah, I used to have like I remember I'd go to Timmy Ho's with Astrid, and I'd get like a sausage and egg bagel, pumpkin pie in a tin. You mean it's just like a pumpkin pie? In like the tin that it was baked in? Because that's pretty standard.
Lucy, I'm home.
Oh, joy.
Let's talk to Grace, because I feel like there might be something here.
There's no one in the...
So, what's new, Grace?
Your use of mathematics, for one thing. These books are unbelievable.
What can I say? I refuse to be bound by rules.
The strap marks on your bedpost speak otherwise.
Ooh, that was saucy. Dang, Grace. I don't blame you, Koo. I'm not really a big McDonald's guy. Whoa,
Hey, kids.
Bruno, how nice.
who is this guy?
Gee, a customer.
Of yours? Hardly.
How's the flower business?
Well, better than the used book business, I see.
Jeez, this guy's saucy.
Books.
Rare books.
That explains why I so rarely see anyone in here. Are you going to sell me that wonderful painting of yours today?
How much would you give me for it, Bruno?
Gabriel, don't you dare sell your father's painting.
Well, I guess I don't need the money that badly.
From the looks of this shop, I'm sure you will, my boy. And soon.
Wow, I didn't realize that was going to happen. That surprised me. Here, let's talk to Grace. She might have a message for us. He really wants.
Got a minute, Grace?
He really wants that
What's
painting,
up?
doesn't he? Do I have any messages?
Do you have messages for me?
Your friend Detective Mosely called.
Hey, there it is.
Talkative, isn't he?
Especially with you. What do you want?
He left an interesting message. He told me to tell you that his mother's maiden name is Humphrey. Oh, that's Humphhrey.
Fascinating.
And that he left some photos for you at the station, at the front desk.
It's about time.
Gabriel, those photos wouldn't have anything to do with the voodoo murders, would they?
Now, why would you say something like that?
Maybe.
Because I know you. You're getting privileged information, aren't you? Did you tell him you'd put him in your new voodoo book?
A
Maybe.
writer has certain obligation to his readers, you know.
Gabriel, you know you'll never put him in your book. Your main character is a female orthodontist. You're gonna be reincarnated as a pit bull if you keep screwing with your karma.
As long as it's a male pit bull with a really big...
That's enough. Thanks. Anyway, that's all the messages. Thank God.
Oh, Astrid was not kidding about that. I forgot to ask Grace about the last message that she had. My bad, guys. My bad. Alright, so we just unlocked a new area. We can go to the police station now. Alright, like I was saying... Gabriel can ask her to research something, but yeah, that's why he can't ask her right now. We're going to ask her to research something later. But yeah, Koo, I don't really like going to McDonald's all that much either. I just go there sometimes with Astrid, or I go there sometimes with my mom. Because, I don't know, they feel like it and it's cheap. Well, I would to Turniak, but I can't ask her because it doesn't give me the option to. If I could ask her, I would. Because I'd like to see what would happen. Anyway, let's go ahead and get out of here, man. That's one of the things about this versus having a text parser. If we had a text parser, we could do it to Turniak.
I'll be back later.
Uh-huh.
Or at least we could try to do it. And strange things happen when you have a text parser, by the way. You can do a lot more with a game when you have a text parser versus the point and click system. But there's also the fact that things get a lot more open-ended with a text parser and a lot harder to play. Let's go to the police station now. And let's talk to this big boy at the desk over here, guys. See what he's got to say. He's going to give us all kinds of grief, I bet.
Got a second, officer?
What can I do you for?
Like, I don't really go to a lot of fast food places right now. I go to, like, more sit-down places, or I went to more sit-down places. Like, there's a place called, there's like a Coney Island nearby that I'd go to. And, I'd have a burger there, or a piece of pie maybe, and then I'd go to, like, there's like this place that serves a bunch of food, but they also specialize in pies. So I'd go there and have one of their lunch things. Like I'd have I'd have like a French dip sandwich there, and I'd have a piece of pie, and they serve coffee there too, so I'd have some coffee. Because you guys know how much I love coffee, right? Our Astrid really likes going to Taco Bell, so I'd go to Taco Bell with her. And I used to go to Taco Bell a lot more with her, but then my weight started getting out of control, and I told her I gotta ease up on the Taco Bell. Yeah, cool. I like Chinese and Japanese food too. There's a nice Chinese place here that I'd like to go into. There's also a nice Mediterranean place that's run by an Iraqi family, I believe. And they're real great. Love them. Coney Island, that's just a type of diner to Turniak. They specialize in like grill food, like Coney dogs. That's just dogs that have like chili on them, and they specialize in like nice desserts, and they specialize in hamburgers, and they maybe some Greek food too occasionally. They're kind of Greek. They're kind of inspired by Greek food a little bit. Yeah, I know. Astrid loves Taco Bell, so we wind up going to Taco Bell a lot. But then my weight started getting out of control, so we had to look at some other places in addition to Taco Bell. Because I'm about 220 pounds, guys. And I'm not like obese or anything, but, you know, at 220 pounds, it's starting to get a bit much.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Me? Nothing. I'm a Catholic boy.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I'm not allowed to give out information on police cases.
Are Coney dogs a Detroit food? I didn't realize they were.
Are you sure you can't give me the scoop on the voodoo murders case?
Hey, buddy. Do I look like the kind of lowlife that'd betray my sacred oath to this department?
I don't know. What would that kind of lowlife look like?
Like hamburger meat if I got a hold of them. Kinda like what you're gonna look like in about 5 seconds.
Oof.
Okay, sorry I asked.
Yeah, Astrid and I were both getting pretty fat. Not that she was like getting as fat as I was, but yeah, she dropped a lot of weight when we stopped going out to eat, man. And for some reason I didn't really. It's not fair. Are those like potato chip sandwiches or something? Or are they like French fry sandwiches? Because I know those are over there in England too. Huh. I didn't know that, Astrid. Cool.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I'll tell you, I'm glad as hell it's not Mardi Gras. If it weren't for that 1 month a year, being a cop in New Orleans would be a real pleasure. As it is, I'd rather stick behind this desk.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Bunch of crazies out there on St. John's Eve, that's what. We're busy all night.
Really? What kind of crazies?
Your usual howl at the mooners, I guess. They don't look no weirder than them that comes in during Mardi Gras. Never can tell, though.
Yeah, I know you guys call them crisps. That's why I figured it was like a potato chip sandwich. I tried putting potato chips on a sandwich once, and I didn't like it. It was too weird.
Do you know what Caprice encore means?
Can't say that I do.
I knew another guy from England who would talk about bacon buddies and something. It was like a French fry sandwich, like a fry buddy or a bacon buddy or whatever it was. And I asked him, "What is a buddy?" And he said, "It's a sandwich." I said, "Oh, okay, all right." So yeah, this is what I get for being American and not English. I don't know anything about the dialect. Don't sell yourself short, Astrid. You're not that short. Hey, there ain't anything wrong with poor people food, Terturniac. Because poor people food is still food. I assume, Koo, that you just put the potato chips on the bread and you're most of the way there. I'm a little confused too, Koo, because I just can't imagine eating a potato chip sandwich.
Tell me about yourself.
Who, me? I'm the Death Sergeant Frick. Why?
Frick?
That's right. You got a problem with that?
Not at all.
That's too much, Astrid. That's too much. Doritos, cheese, a little lettuce if you have it, some mustard. I don't know. That just doesn't sound appetizing to me. That sounds like a last resort, or or also maybe pregnant food. Yeah, I kind of figured that was how you did it, Taterniak. That sounds about right. Yeah, Astrid and I like to go to 7-Eleven a lot. So I'll go in there and I'll like get some coffee, or when the pandemic started, I started getting like energy drinks and stuff. Yeah, there's like this energy juice drink that I kind of love there. And we get some, maybe we get some candy too or something. And Astrid always get like all these cheap candies that they have there. Like I forget what you would get. But I would just look at him like, who gets those? No one buys that kind of candy. That's poor kid candy. That's the kind of candy you get when you got no money, Astrid. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, Koo. I think I would. I feel like bread and potato chips are two great tastes that we're destined to never meet.
Tell me about yourself.
You see that?
Yeah?
Well, I watch people come in. See this book?
Yeah?
Well, I write people's names in it, see? People that bother me. Want me to put your name in this book?
I think not.
That's what I thought.
Take it down a notch, you fascist. Good lord.
Are you sure you don't know what...
You don't want to...
I'm here to see Detective Mosely.
He's out of the crime scene. Sorry.
Parma ham and buffalo mozzarella. That sounds pretty nice. I don't know what buffalo mozzarella is, but it sounds alright.
I was supposed to pick up some photos from Detective Mosely at the front desk.
Is that right? And who are you?
My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Yeah. I got something for you, all right. Soon as you're done talking, I'll give it to you.
About...
I told...
Alright, we're not going to get anything more out of this guy, but we need those photos.
Here's that envelope for you, Gabriel Knight.
Thanks.
Oh, that would make sense then, Koo. Yeah. I cannot say I've ever had buffalo milk. Or any kind of cheese made from buffalo milk.
The envelope has Gabriel's name written on it. Misspelled.
Oh, of course it does. It would. Let's open this bad boy up, shall we?
Gabriel opens the manila envelope and finds 2 photographs.
Whew.
One of the photos from Mosely is an official Voodoo Murders crime scene shot. A graphic close-up of a victim.
Woof.
Those two...
Come on. Here we go.
The photograph of Mosely was apparently taken upon his graduation from the police academy. He had hair then.
You know, I don't think poor families here in America could even afford a cold sausage sandwich to Turniak. To be perfectly honest. But it also really depends on where they're getting it. Yeah, let's get on out of here, guys. And now I'm going to show you a little trick. Which might not be super obvious. This is a bit of a... This puzzle is a bit moon logic-y, but it's actually not that moon logic-y. It's just enough, it makes enough sense that you think about it and you say, well, yeah, of course that's how we do it. Like, no one's going to tell us where Mosely is, right? Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. Let's get on out of here. and go to Jackson Square. And let's try talking to this guy.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Not now, buddy. I'm busy.
I should have noticed that. Thanks.
Yeah, right.
Anyone seen Joe?
Okay, you hear that crackle on the radio? That's a little something. That's a little bit of a hint. We kind of want to listen in on that radio, but he's not going to let us.
Coroner requests assistance at the
I think I have some Professor Layton games. At least I have them on the DS, I think. Yeah, I think I do. Now, if we go up here... Yeah, maybe I'll check them out later, see what they're all about. If we go up here, look at this. There's a mime up there. Alright? Now watch what happens when people cross the path of this mime. Look at this. He starts following them.
Well, I never. Leave me alone, you man.
Okay, so that's a little something. Now what we need is a distraction so we can get to that radio, right? We want to listen on that cop's radio. So this guy who's following people might be a prime candidate. Let's go get the attention of this mime. And let's keep him away from other people. Because if he gets too close to other people, he's gonna dance. That's cool. He dances. He dances. Oh, come on.
Hey, stop picking on me. I'll tell my dad.
For a cob, what, like a corn cob?
You white-faced geek! You want to eat my fist?
Okay, that didn't work that time because people crossed the mime's path. Let's try again. Get them to follow us. Yeah, let's try to get out of here. Come on, mime. Alright. Come on, follow. Get over there, Gabriel. Alright, come on, get on to the next screen. Get on to the next screen. Alright, now let's walk over here to the cop. Bread cob? I don't know what a bread cob is.
Hey, cut that out. I told you to stop that.
Now look at this. He's trolling the cop, guys.
All right, mister. You want some of this?
And now we have access to the cop's radio.
Gabriel doesn't...
Boom, we operate it.
Gabriel picks up the headset and listens.
And now we give it a listen.
Ambulance 911, have you located the crime scene? They've radioed for you 3 times.
Damn! Did you say it was north of the Lake Retreat Country Club?
South, Lakeside Drive, north of Piedmont Pier, south of the Country Club.
Man, I don't know if it's the clouds out here today or what. Good thing this guy's already dead.
Everyone's having trouble. Must have been hallucinogens in the coffee this morning.
It's just so misty out here or something. Hey, I see a squad car. Got it, Molly.
Thank God. Have a good one, 911.
Interesting.
Stupid mime. Hey, you! Get away from that bike.
Sorry.
I have all the Professor Layton games, Coo. Oh, a loaf?
Coroner requests assistance at the
Okay. Well, I know what a loaf of bread is. I've just never heard it called a cob before. Now that we listen in on that cop's bike, we know where the crime scene is, so we can go over this way, and we can find some things out pretty quickly.
The crime scene team is still at the site. Gabriel parks a bit out of the way and walks over to avoid adding to the general confusion.
Luckily, Mosely is his friend, so Gabriel's not going to get in hot water for this.
Hey, Mosely.
Huh? Knight, you wiener. I told you not to call me that.
Feeling jumpy?
Who, me? Don't be stupid. How'd you find me?
Oh, I was just driving by.
Uh-huh. Well, for the book. But don't tell anyone I let you see this, huh?
Oh, we just call those hamburger buns, Terniak.
It's another one. As you can see, same M.O. and no frickin' clues. We're still waiting on an ID for the body.
That's disgusting. Isn't this a rather, public area for this kind of thing?
Yeah, they're frickin' ghosts, these guys. Lakeshore Drive isn't exactly the 10 expressway, but it is open to the public. No reports and nothing. Now, who the hell is that?
Who is that? Oh. Well, Gabriel looks a little happy. Oh my.
Good day, Miss Getty.
He is
What's
smitten.
going on, officer?
Detective Mosely, ma'am. We've got a little problem here, but nothing for you to be concerned about, Miss Getty.
I see. Thank you, detective. And good day, gentlemen.
Whoa, I'm in love.
You just aged 50 years.
Forget it. That's Molly Getty. She's about as far out of your reach as the moon. Probably on her way to meet some guy with a yacht right now.
Near here?
The lake's a popular place for country clubs.
If she's out here a lot, maybe she saw something or heard something.
Man, nobody ever sees or hears nothing. I told you. Besides, you just don't go around bothering people like her.
We've about wrapped it up, sir. It's another clean sweep.
Yeah, let's get the meat wagon moving then.
Do you want to leave an officer here, sir?
Nah, just leave the tape up for a few days.
Yes, sir. If you'll excuse us, sir, we'll take him away.
The art is really good in this game, Koo. Like, it's amazing for, like, what we got in 1993.
Stick around and take notes for the book if you want. Watch out for the muck and the water moccasins, though. I'll be back at the station. Stop by if you want to go over the cake.
Thanks.
We might play a LucasArts game after this. And LucasArts had a very similar style, Koo. Like, another game released around this time was Sam & Max Hit the Road, which was very, very cool, very cartoony, but also had a very, very nice art style. Cob's a working class term. When we think of cobs in America, we usually think of like corn cobs and stuff. We just call a hamburger, when we got like, we just call those kind of buns hamburger buns, and there's hot dog buns, and there's loaves of bread, and God, I can't think of anything else right now. Here, let's go ahead and get out Gabriel's sketchbook, because look right here. There's this weird design here.
Let me try to get this down.
Okay. Man, look at all the points we got already, man.
Patches of grass have managed to survive life on the banks of Lake Pontchartrain. Lake Pontchartrain is impressive. It measures 24 miles across and stretches as far as the eye can see. But you wouldn't want to swim in it.
Yeah, totally cool. In fact, there's a lot of developers who are releasing games like this now. Like, we see games like this, probably dozens of them every year now, For instance, like there's a game called Beat Cop that was released that has a similar art style. And I think 2064 had a similar art style. There's all kinds of games. If you just go on GOG and Steam and take a look. It's a little easier to find them on GOG. But you can find adventure games like this very easily with similar art styles because people are approaching this retro style design and flying with it. And it's really cool. What they did for this game was that they would paint the backgrounds, right? And then they'd import them into pixel art. And then they'd insert the character sprites like this, and it would create this look that has aged extremely well. Whereas if you look like a game like the Monkey Island remake that I played very recently on this channel, it looks a little weird compared to this. The characters don't look grounded like they do here. That's awesome, cool. Devil Daggers. Ooh, I actually bought that a while back. I thought it looked kind of cool. So I bought it.
Out, damned spot.
It looks like a PS1 game,
Banks ne'er be cleaned again.
Yeah, there's a certain aesthetic about that retro stuff where we look at it and say, man, that looks really cool. And I think it's great that all these developers are running with this like old style. Like, Puppet Combo was doing like survival horror stuff in a PlayStation 1 style. And the people who made Devil Daggers made that kind of game that has kind of an N64 feel about it. It's great. I love it. Alright, soulmates. I think we got just about everything that we can get today. So maybe it's about time to head back over to St. George's.
Darcy, home.
Oh boy, party time.
God, Taterniak, I have no idea what you just asked for. It sounds like you asked for cereal. It sounds to me like you asked for corn on the cob dipped in crushed cereal. It's all right, Phoenix. It's nice to see you again, though. I really appreciate you being here, man. Now, we're going to ask Grace to do some research. And I think that's the last thing that we have to do for this day.
What's up?
Do you have messages for me?
Nope. None right now.
Figures. All right, we'll ask her to do some research.
Research for me.
Sure. What?
Could you see what you can find out about a woman named Malia Getty?
The name Getty sounds familiar. What's your interest in her?
Oh, just, stuff about the voodoo murders. If you could get an address...
They're murders. Right. I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
She is justifiably skeptical. Oh, sweet. I tried getting Doom a while back, but I bought Doom on Steam a while back, but I returned it because it was a package deal, and one of the games didn't run on my computer. So, womp womp. To be honest, I think the games on GOG have a little bit better of a batting average of running well for me. I don't mind Steam, but I feel like I haven't really had any problems with GOG. Like, all the games have been running flawlessly for me. Kind of surprised. After dealing with some of the stuff that I've bought on Steam. Like, I bought a Wolfenstein package and I bought a Doom package, and there was one game in both of them that didn't work for me. So I was so disappointed in that. Oh well, what are you going to do, right? We were actually going to take a look at Carmen Sandiego before this, but we looked and we couldn't find Carmen Sandiego. I'm not sure if it's even... Oh, it just means good old games. GOG.com is like another Steam thing, but they have a... It's pretty much just like Steam. And they have a lot of these old games like this. But they also have a lot of new stuff too. It's run by CD Projekt Red.
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
And I think it's how they make the majority of their money these days. You should look into it. It's actually a pretty decent site. I don't really have anything bad to say about it, so... Now, this game I bought off Steam, but the majority of, like, these old games that I have, I bought off of, GOG. Okay, I think we're done here for today.
Well...
Yep, there we go.
It's about closing time.
So it is. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gabriel. And, try not to dream, okay?
Easier said than done, Gracie. Hey, that's cool. That's cool, Chernak. I still have some floppy disk too. I've got a lot of the older games on CD here. In fact, I got like a boot disk that we had to throw in an old computer to help the old games run well. or else Day of the Tentacle would have a hard time running. Well, there's no reason you would, Koo. It's outdated tech. But if you want to play some old games, sometimes you gotta learn about that kind of stuff. Because some games you just can't get on the new services, man. Like one game that I really, really want to play is Darkseed. I would love to play that for you guys, but it's not on sale anywhere. Well, Taternia, keep in mind that Koo was born in like 2000, so... I mean, by 2000, floppy disks were dead tech. A mask I wore as I approached. Ah, man, I didn't get to read it. I wasn't paying attention. Come on, man. You feel old. I mean, don't feel old, Chernak. It's just a fact of life, man.
Good morning. Don't you look swell today? Actually, swollen. So have some. There's a fresh pot on the table.
Oh god, the 5-inch floppies. You mean like this? Like this, Chernak?
Seriously, you look like hell. Your hair is sticking straight up like a... Oh, it always does that. Never mind.
Ha ha.
Did you dream about the fire and the hang guy and that lion thing last night?
Leopard, not lion. Did you get anything on Malia Getty?
Well, I did get her address, but you're a little out of your league here, big fella. The Gettys own 3 local hospitals, just to name a few of their assets. They run in very high circles.
Did you get an address?
I got the address. I suppose this has nothing to do with the fact that Malia Getty is incredibly gorgeous. I should have known you wouldn't go for a rich, ugly socialite.
And that address is...
Hey! Far be it from me to postpone your total humiliation. It's 557 West England. That's a garden district, a state city.
That's all I wanted to know. And yes, my dear, Malia Getty is the most dangerous-looking diversion I've ever seen. Ouch!
Ouch!
Oy, men.
Oh, Gabriel. Yeah, I know, Taterniak. I have some floppy disks lying around here someplace, but I don't have a lot of them. I just don't know where they are right now. Age of Empires 2. I have that game, I think. I have it on CD, like, downstairs. think I might have it on... I might actually have it on GOG, too. Let me check it out real quick. Disco Asylum? I don't know if I've played... I don't think I've played Disco Asylum here. I'm taking a quick look on GOG to see if I have Age of Empires. Don't mind me while I take a gander. So is this thing going to boot up or what? There it is. Okay, it's launching. Alright, let me see what I own. Do I own Age of Empires? I don't think I do. Huh. You know, for some reason I really thought I did. I've got a couple of Elder Scrolls games. You know what happened? I probably meant to buy them and I just didn't. Nope, I don't have Age of Empires. Dungeon Master 2, oh god. We can play that at some point. As long as it doesn't like have a... As long as it has a steady camera. Because I try to play games that Astrid can watch because of, you know, motion sickness issues. 3D games that have a camera that whips around a lot don't do well for her. Alright, let's, what we were going to do. Well, I suppose now would be a good time to save. So, let's go ahead and save this bad boy. And let's call this, day 2 stream opening. Okay. Seems like a good time to save right there. Fortunately, this is one of those Sierra games that takes it easy on the deaths. Thank God. An isometric RPG, we can play that then.
Times Picayune, dated June 19, 1993. A front-page article describes the most recent of the voodoo murders. Gabriel scans it but learns nothing new. The article reiterates that the voodoo aspect of the crimes is fake. Gabriel shivers. It looked real enough to him. Elsewhere, there's an article about the history of Jackson Square.
Okay, we got a few hints.
Called La Plaza d'Armas. Under French rule, it was used for executions, firing squads, hanging, even impalement and breaking on the wheel. Yikes. Of course, these days, it's mostly a hangout for tourists, street musicians, and local artists. Gabriel also scans the Aquarius horoscope for the day. Chances of a dark star rising on this day. Do not trust your instincts.
I feel a dark star rising, all right.
Tim Curry, you devil. That sounds awesome, Koo. I'll take a look at it. I'll take a look for it. I don't think I own it yet. But it sounds like we'll be able to play it. Wait a minute. What's going on? No, I don't have it. Alright, let's take a quick look. Disco Elysium. Here, I'm just gonna throw it on the old wish list real quick. Wow, it's got some mad reviews. Nice. Cool. Alright, I've got it marked. I've got it earmarked for later. Okay, let's go ahead and drink some coffee, I think.
My kidneys.
Oh, he already made coffee?
Coffee has
I thought he wanted coffee. Drink some coffee, Gabriel.
Gabriel cannot.
You can never have too much coffee, my man. Come on. Oh, God. Alright, what else do we have here?
Gabriel can. Gabriel.
Oh, you know what we can do?
Gabriel can see.
You know what we can do? I just remembered. Oh God, Chaos Strikes. I've never even played an Amiga game.
I'm going out.
Don't hurry back on my account.
I think the oldest things that I had to play from way back when were PC games and Super Nintendo games. And I actually, like a little over a decade ago, I actually scored a brand spanking new Nintendo on eBay, man. It was wild. It was like this old lady just kept a brand spanking new Nintendo in her basement for fresh in the box, still in the plastic, completely new, for like 20 years, and then she decided she's never going to use it, so she sold it. And it was totally legit. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was totally new. The controllers were like totally new. Everything was all in its wrapping and everything. It was the craziest thing I've ever bought on like eBay, man. Alright, let's talk to the big guy behind the desk here. But anyway, I played some Nintendo games.
Got a second, officer?
What can I do you for?
He's just aged 100 years to Turniak. I'm killing you, brother. I didn't mean to age you.
I'm here to see Detective Mosely.
He's in his office. Go on back.
Alright, tough guy. We actually have to talk to this guy about Detective Mosely first, or else he won't let us go back there.
Hey. It's you. God help me.
Oh God. Devil Daggers is that hard, huh, Koo? Final score is how long you survived. Win if you can. Survive if I let you. So there's no, like, winning the game. You just survive as long as humanly possible, is what I gather here. Alright, let's talk to Mosely.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
Final Fantasy VII was good. Like, I played the original, but I also played the remake. Or, I guess, part 1 of the remake. And they're both really tight. Ultimately, I guess I kind of prefer the original, though. I just got it remastered on the Switch, and thank God, because I have a feeling that my CD of Final Fantasy VII is not going to last much longer.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
There's voodoo that goes on in this city, sure. I looked into it a bit at the beginning of this case. But the voodoo stuff found at the crime scenes is all faked. It doesn't have anything to do with the real stuff. I know. I asked some experts. It's intimidation tactics, that's all.
That's awesome, Koo. The thing about my Final Fantasy VII disc is that, you know, it's a disc from back from the late 90s, man. And there's a huge problem with CDs, man. It's called disc rot. And so they're not going to last forever.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Lots. Can you be more specific?
Oh, wow. He's going to tell us. He's going to just let it all go, huh? Cool.
Do you know anything about the killers?
At least 20 people attend the killings. We know this from the variety of footprints found at the scene.
What, they're just dancing?
Aren't those as good as fingerprints?
Can be. But we'd have to have a suspect in custody first, and the suspect would have to match one of the few distinct prints we have. Most of the footprints are smudged, trodden over, unreadable. These
Good
guys
Lord.
are so casual in their expertise, it's maddening. Like they know we'll never find them.
It's all going according to plan, mostly. One touch kill by anything? Wow, that's brutal, dude. My God.
How many murders have there been so far?
7 murders have so far been linked to the Voodoo Murders case. Now, the first murder occurred about 8 weeks ago. The M.O. was the same in each murder. Lake Pontchartrain was the 7th.
I don't know what the hardest game I've ever played is, guys, but I have a feeling it's probably Contra Hardcore. Oh, I have the game. But, Deterniac, yeah. One touch kill by anything. So what you're saying is it's essentially Contra with a horror theme. And you're trapped with no place to go.
What kind of evidence have you found?
No fingerprints, a few bare footprints. Found a few fibers, but not many. The weirdest one was leopard fur.
Leopard fur?
That's curious. Leopard fur? Oh dear.
Describe the crime scenes.
Now there's the corpse itself, minus the heart.
Thinking
Around
the
where the body was
doodas.
killed, we find marks and flour and blood. There are traces of wax from candles, red and black. Ordinary wax candles, so the lab reports. Also blood and feathers of chickens. Also goat's blood. And plenty of the victim's own, of course.
I was watching some speed runs of Contra Hardcore and Contra 3 The Alien Wars pretty recently, and God, I wish I had that kind of talent. I was watching this guy play Contra on hard, like so casually. Like, no big deal.
What's the coroner say?
The victim's heart is always ripped out of the chest and missing. We haven't located a single one of them.
Lovely. Any idea what they do with them?
Don't even want to know. Also, the coroner says some of the victims had heart attacks before the incision. Literally scared to death. The knife wounds are consistent with a long, narrow, wavy-edged knife. Probably a ritualistic dagger.
Whoa.
Any witnesses?
Nope. There's never been a single witness. No one's even heard a disturbance. It's damned weird. Like they just don't want people to see, and so nobody sees nothing.
Pretty sure no one wants to talk, mostly.
Know anything about the victims?
The victims are all out-of-towners. We still don't know why.
No one's gonna miss them. I guess. No one around here knows them.
Oh, nothing, never mind.
Sure, no problem.
So we got our own little version of a tourist trap, it sounds like.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
You and me grew up together. You tell me. It's a pretty nice place, even seeing the stuff I see. You know. The quarter's getting a bit too wild, though. Getting hard to control. Not quite what it was when you and me used to hang here, but... hell, I've never known anything else.
Huh. I've never been 5 minutes away from New Orleans. You know that, Gabriel.
What can you tell?
I'm too sentimental to say anything else about it.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
That's coming up, isn't it?
We get some occasional weirdness in the quarter, but nothing much.
Used to have a lot of strange things happen, though, or so I hear.
Summoning Salt, huh? I never heard of him, but I'll check it out.
Do you have any idea what Cabri Sans Coeur?
Without heart,
Hell
something.
no. Is that French? My mother spoke it, but I always had a hard enough time just speaking English.
True enough. Tell me about yourself.
For the book?
Sure, why not?
Okay, what do you want to know?
Ooh. Man, we're getting all kinds of dialogue options from Mosely here.
How'd you like working on the police force?
Are you kidding? You know I love being a cop. In New Orleans, it's the best place in the world to be one.
By the way, guys, Mosely here is voiced by Mark Hamill. Just FYI.
What are your plans for the future?
Well, you know, I don't like to count my chickens before they're hatched, but I don't see why I can't be the chief of police of New Orleans someday.
Dreaming big,
I already
man.
know the mayor, and my record is one of the best in the department.
I'm sure it's just a matter of moments, mostly.
Yeah, you'll see.
I haven't whacked anybody yet that I shouldn't have whacked, so that promotion should be guaranteed. Well, that's cool. I haven't done any speedrunning myself. I'm not good enough to do any speedrunning, honestly. Contra, though? Yeah, Contra, I bet it would be an hour long.
Got any hobbies?
Yeah, making your life miserable.
I'm serious. Don't you shoot or chew or something like that?
No, I'm a freaking ballet dancer. Jeez. Yeah, I was #1 at the Louisiana State Fair Marksman Contest. I play trumpet, too. You know, put your lips together and blow.
How's your home life?
How's your home life?
Oh, real funny, Knight. Why don't you just bring in some frickin' salt? Well, you know Annie left me. My home life is shit.
Right. Sorry about that. Just tell me anything at all.
Remember how we used to play monkey in the middle? We used to piss off our senior year teacher. What was her name? Ms. McKelly? You'd act like you were gonna toss her an eraser or something. Then you'd throw it to me over her head. And we used to do it at your grand's, too. Like with the remote when she wanted to watch your soaps.
Yep. And it was a great way to pick up women in the library. Oh, those were the days.
Alright, we're not really going to get anywhere with the tell me anything business.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
It's your dime.
What, am I paying him? Oh dear. Yeah, I like watching other people do it too, man. Some of the stuff I see on, I like watching GDQ. And some of the stuff that they got on there is really neat. Like they just did a Clock Tower series that I thought was pretty cool.
What's the status on the Voodoo Murders case?
It's going. Can't seem to make any progress, though. Sluggish damn case. It's weird.
What's the status?
Yours.
Alright.
How about getting me some
Coffee? You want coffee?
Should that surprise you?
Nah, you've always been a caffeine addict. It's just that what we got here hardly qualified.
So, I'm desperate.
It's your stomach. I'll get you some when we're done talking.
That long?
All right, I'll go now.
They must be really good friends for him to put up with that. Oh, God.
Don't touch anything while I'm gone.
Deterniac, I believe you. I just don't. I really don't know what a CPC is. Is that like a Commodore or something? No. Commodore 64. No. That wouldn't be it. No, I really don't know what a CPC is. Alright, so this is a solution to some kind of puzzle or another.
Gabriel would prefer.
Here, drink it.
Thanks.
I thought seeing TMR do Cuphead was one of the greatest things I've ever seen, man. Also, Sepato doing Streets of Rage was amazing. Like, the two of them just completely owned their games. And then watching 8 wreck The Lion King was pretty cool too, because I hated that game when I was younger. Yeah, man, to Turniac, I have never used anything like that.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
I don't know who the most talented speedrunner ever is, but I'd have to say that TMR's got to be up there.
I got those photographs you left for me.
Really? Great. What'd you think?
Astonishingly lifelike.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Got any more ideas for photos for the book?
Ooh. Here's a solution to a puzzle coming up real soon. I won't bring in anything quite yet. But we need to see a file here.
Nope, I think we have everything we need.
Okay, but you shouldn't underestimate the power of beefcake.
Power of Beefcake! He's calling himself Beefcake.
Do you know anything about the
Let's ask him about
around
this.
the bodies?
Yeah, weird, huh? All 7 victims had those little marks around.
All right,
We got all
here we
the
go.
marks on file, but we haven't figured out what, if anything, they mean.
I think we're frustrating Taturniac, who Taturniac's bringing up all these old consoles and computer systems, and we're just like,
Can I see the other 6 patterns?
Sure. People like that kind of stuff, don't they? Might make the book seem more mysterious. Go talk to Officer Franks. Tell her I said you could see the file.
All right, so before we get photographs in here, let's go talk to her. Now let's insult Mosely first.
Have you ever called the hair club for men?
Oh!
I'd rather have no hair than your hair, Knight.
Ow. What's wrong with my hair? My hair is glorious. You wish you had a mane this delicious.
Can I ask you a few questions, ma'am?
I'm sorry, sir, but I really have to finish these reports.
Okay, let's try the exclamation point then.
Excuse me, officer.
Yes?
I've heard of a ColecoVision, sure. It's just not something I've ever played. Wait, I played it in television before. My dad had one. So that much I had. Alright, that might be the oldest piece of gaming tech that I used when I was younger.
Can you get a file for me?
What file would that be?
The Voodoo Murders file? Detective Mosely said I could see it.
Really? Well, if he said so.
What's the oldest console you've used, Koo?
There it is. You can look at it all you want, but don't leave this area with it, okay? And no photocopies either, I'm afraid.
Of course. I understand completely.
By the way, guys, the most brutal thing about the Intellivision is like the voice games. Because there was like this voice unit that you would put like a little cartridge into. And when you would play a game, it would play the voices along with it. And the voices were so horrible and distorted that you just wondered to yourself, who thought this was a good idea? This is horrible. No one wants to like listen to this, man. Game Boy Advance. That's cool. I have a Game Boy Micro. I really love the Game Boy Micro, by the way. Like, just a terrific little console. So portable. I love it. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let's open this bad boy up.
The police file contains partial patterns from the first 6 voodoo murders.
Yeah, Astrid hasn't really played anything. Like, pretty much everything that she's ever played, I've exposed her to. She had a Genesis when she was younger, but I don't think you had a lot of games, did you? You had an N64 too, I think too. Yeah, you had an N64.
I'm done.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright, so we'll put that there. Now we'll go back into Mosely's office. Oh wow, that was fast. I didn't expect him to like rush over there. We're going to solve this puzzle, and then I think that might be it for today, guys. Good year, 1981. Oh boy. That was well before my time, Deterniak.
Can I ask you about some stuff?
You're the writer. Ask away.
I got those photographs you left for me.
So you said. Did you think of any other shots for the book?
Okay, we're going to get a cop author photo.
A cop author photo might be nice.
You and me? Together?
Why not? Of course, you'll have to try to tone down your masculinity.
Well, okay. Now I'll call the police photographer.
I got Astrid a Genesis Mini for her birthday this past year. And,
Franks, come here a minute, would you? Bring your camera.
she really liked it. I have one too, and I liked it. I kind of modded mine to include a few games that I thought should have been included. And luckily, the emulator works on them.
What did you need, Detective Mosely?
We need a picture, please. And make it a good one, huh, sweetheart?
Sir?
Sure, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Say, chintzy.
Was there anything else, Knight?
Now, we're going to go out and check our hair.
Hold on a sec while I go check my hair.
Good God, Knight, make it fast.
The vanity is going to come into play very shortly. And now, while we're out here, let's pick up this file.
Let me see that file again.
And Big Boy right there is too absorbed in what he's doing to really care what we're going to do. So we'll take this file and go over to the photocopier.
Just want to check this machine here.
Ahem. Don't mind me, just making some copies. Not looking shifty at all. Cops surrounding the area, no big deal. Hey, we'll just slip this right back.
No point.
We'll just slip that right back in the tray where it was, and we'll go over here and get our picture taken again. Would be really fun.
Just get in here.
Mosely's getting mad.
Hurry up, would you?
Okay, ready.
Thanks, hon. Let me know when you got it developed. The photos, that is.
Yeah, sure.
Zaxxon, never played it. Womp womp. Sorry, Teterniak. I've heard of the ColecoVision. I haven't played any of the games on it, though. Alright, I think we're done here. Look at that, 50 out of 342. Look how far we've gotten to the game already. Now let's go ahead and save. We'll just call this Day 2 Mosely Office. And that'll be that. Oh god, you had an Atari Lynx. I am so sorry. Who Who would do that to you? What kind of cruelty is that? There's one portable console you don't want. Well, first off, it was a Game Gear. You didn't want that. But you really didn't want a Lynx. Unfortunately, I got a Game Gear. But then I also have, like, Super Game Boy, so it all evened out. You know, Super Game Boy, the little cartridge for the Super Nintendo that you could pop your Game Boy cartridges into and play your games on it. Well, it's not our fault you had an Atari Lynx. No one had an Atari Lynx, man. The Atari Lynx bombed America. The Atari Lynx, the Atari Jaguar, both of them. I had a Game Gear too. There were a handful of nice things on that console. So, yeah, there were some good things about it. But overall, it was a real battery hog, man. Like, it didn't last for anything. To even be remotely usable in a car, you had to have an adapter to plug it into. Hey, Will Barracks, nice to see you, man. Well, at least we finally found something that we have in common with the hardware. Terturniak is just is having himself a moment over here because he's talking about all the consoles and everything and games that he's had through the years, and he's had a whole bunch of stuff that we haven't. And the poor man had an Atari Lynx. An Atari Lynx. Who did you make angry? Who did you piss off that you got an Atari Lynx? That's okay. The Game Gear is the inner tube that will save your life, my friend. Maybe. I had Shinobi and Vampire, The Darkness or something on there. It was a Castlevania clone, but it was a decent game. And the Sonic games on Game Gear weren't bad either. And Shining